the place.
Welcome to the Film Museum Potsdam and welcome to the exhibition Traumfabrik, which means Dream Factory, an exhibition about the oldest film studio in the world. So Babelsberg, now 105 years old, and it changed the name. So it started with the company called the German Bioscope. It's Bioscope, the first projector invented by the Skladanowski brothers in Berlin, 1895. Filming took place in Germany in the old historical centers, on top of the roofs, like greenhouses to use daylight. But that was forbidden in 1910, so there was a fire department order forbade that. And then cameraman Guido Seber found this area where still today Studio Babelsberg is located. It changed the name into Dekla Bioscope. The UFA was founded in 1917, so the Universum Film Aktiengesellschaft. And in the 20s, so the 1921, it was a fusion of them. Nearly everything was invented there. So camera techniques or lightnings, even the categories, the genre that there is, a science fiction and an adventure and a romance and all these stuff is German, Prussian correct order categories, to have categories, and even Billy Wilder, Alfred Hitchcock, all these famous guys, they were trainees here. They learned how filmmaking is developing. They wrote their first scripts. After the Second World War, the UFA was divided, like Germany as well. So the UFA in West Germany, but in East Germany, UFA became DEFA, the Deutsche Film AG. And after the German reunification, it was over with DEFA. So UFA was alone again, still existing, headquartered in Babelsberg. Nowadays the symbol, the logo of the film studio is this, and that's a very important sign because it's the famous scene of Metropolis. So by Fritz Lang, 1927. It's the changing of the robot becoming a human being, a woman. And that's the myth of Babelsberg and the invention of science fiction, which was here by Fritz Lang. And even the second science fiction, for example, Women in the Moon. I can show you a scene over there. Women in the Moon, 1929. Very interesting because rockets did not exist at that time. They invented a rocket. They invented a moon landscape. So there were 40 wagons of sand by the Baltic Sea. They brought it here, and they built the moon landscape. And a special thing they invented, they found the countdown. So Fritz Lang, it was 1929, stood in front of the rocket and said, "Okay, when is the rocket starting?" So when we count 1, 2, 3, 50, 100, nobody knows when to start. We count backward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and at 0, everybody knows now it's the start. So the countdown was a German invention in Babelsberg, only for that movie. And years and years and years later, copied by the Americans in reality. So that's the story behind the story, right? Very interactive. You can open everything, you can click everywhere. So it's a very nice exhibition, not only texts. I can show you the first room. We have different theme rooms, as we call it. So of course, what's the first? How to begin? Of course, you had to have an idea and a story and a script. So we do have some scripts of all these eras of UFA, DEFA and today's studio. Die Mörder sind unter uns, the murders are among us, for example. The first movie after the Second World War. After writing a script, of course, you need actors. So the next theme room is called Stars and Starlight. We do have a casting box. Come over here. A casting box where there is, of course, a camera, where there is a uniform, some costumes, and you can play in front of this blue screen, and you are then later part of one of our Babelsberg productions, famous films. And then you can send the scene via email and spread the word. So this is what I call the interactive exhibition. Of course, the next thing is you need costumes for the actors. So these are, for example, different costume designers who show how they draw the scratches for different Rika Röck, for example, all these music movies in the 40s, and how the department of costumes are working is explained here. Of course, we do have some original costumes over here, science fiction in the 60s. A few weeks ago we had costumes used for Grand Budapest Hotel, famous movie last year. It is a Babelsberg production. It has nothing to do with Hollywood, only because it's English spoken in the movie. It's a Studio Babelsberg production, and for example, we got an Oscar for Grand Budapest Hotel for the costumes. So very important to know that. Okay, and then we do have props, of course. The actors need props. Famous props of all these old movies with Winnetou in the eastern part of Germany with Gojko Mitic as the actor. There are props of science fictions, there are props of famous fairy tales, Drei Haselnüsse für Aschenbrödel called. You can see that or you can watch that on TV nearly every Christmas in Germany. These are the original nuts. This is nearly the current situation. So there is, for example, the Marlene Dietrich stage, which was originally built in 1926 only because of Metropolis, for the backlots, the skyscrapers, still existing today. And now we're going into the shooting day. So the action.
Goddamn fuck you there! I'm not a terrorist. I'm just a refugee. You're a fucking
The old days of the UFAR and the 40s up to the 80s of the DEFA, but this is nowadays studio, an original projector by the German company Zeiss, an original one of the 1920s, and it was used for the shooting. Cutting. Of course, children and youth, I have to explain that this is film. This and this, they only know iPhone and digital photos, so we always have to explain that what film really looks like. So that's the cutting now. The old-fashioned way here on a table, in comparison to all the new ones like